Now let's look at the general practices. Kanban establishes the following practices: visualize, limit work in progress, manage flow, make policies explicit, feedback loops, and improve and evolve. Starting with the visualize practice, one of the mandatory aspects of using Kanban is to have a Kanban board. Don't be mistaken, the goal is not to have a simple flow system, but to include commitment and delivery points that are well defined. Furthermore, it also displays the limits for the work in progress and explicitly presents the policies. Policies are a summary of what needs to be done before moving items between the distinct columns or stages of the board. While the board designs vary, the method is not constrained by the design, and it also has no direct implication on the actual card design, the card that describes the work. As we will see in the next slide, the figure presents a physical board where all these items are present, and as you can see, it is vital to highlight visually when items are blocked. The design is exclusive and rather adequate for the team and project at hand. The flow for the work items is clear. The limits of the work in progress, we can only guess that they are on the top of each representative column, jointly with the policies in place. The overall complexity of this board might be obvious for a newbie, but after undergoing into the process, it becomes clear what are the stages that could potentially become bottlenecks in the workflow. The second practice is the limit of the WIP, work in progress. This is a key aspect to provide a pull system instead of a push system. The goal is to avoid having too much partially completed work. This is a waste of resources that becomes expensive since it lengthens lead times. Thus, the perspective for customers and competition might be endangered due to the perceived lack of responsiveness of the team, project, and organization. Work in progress limits must be observed, monitored, and then optimized whenever necessary. At any given time, the team can improve the lead times by adjusting the in-progress burden and thus delivering functional software with higher quality and rate deliveries. In this brief example, it is obvious just by a simple and visual analysis of the board where are the bottlenecks and what are the stages that need some optimization and need to be limited so that the final column receives more items per unit of time, improving the delivery rate. Managed flow is intrinsically connected with the limit to the work in progress, since it is of utmost importance to accommodate the desires and priorities of the customer by delivering the most valuable work items. So basically, when considering the management of the flow, the goal is to minimize the lead time while trying to smooth the delivery effort by the team. Up until this moment, we still did not address how the work items are pulled from one column to the next. One of the metrics that is seldomly used is the cost of delay, also known as the urgency of an item. Basically, the cost implication of delaying the delivery of a work item. There are 4 archetypes that classify the urgency of a work item: expedite, fixed date, standard, and intangible. Closely looking at figure 8, we can see the differences that are obvious. Upon an expedite urgency, the cost of delivering the work item over time grows enormously. Quite different from what happens when considering an intangible urgency, where there is no foreseen cost of delivering the work item with delay. The standard urgency is where the delay is directly correlated to the cost of a work item. And the fixed date implies that there is no cost of delivering the work item up until a certain date, after which there is a huge increase in the cost of delay. These archetypes can easily be used to define service levels agreements for Kanban systems, teams, and projects. Policies should be sparse, well-defined, visible, and always applied and readily changeable. It is not possible to predict the behavior of complex systems. So, by promoting ambiguous policies based on common sayings or proverbs like "the sooner you start, the sooner you finish," lacks the extra guidance that a specific team needs within the project for the project to actually evolve. So ensure that your policies are explicit and make it straightforward to question and change when they are counterproductive or are not being applied. This image presents a possible location for the explicit policies to appear on the board. Clear for everyone. The continuous flow that is empowered by the Kanban method lacks predefined specific moments to get and provide feedback. Thus, as all the agile methodologies, Kanban also enables the existence of cycles and iterations devoted to achieving the desired inspection of the system. They are essential to a controlled process and important to evolve within the change. The areas that need improvement and thus need some controlling and monitoring are the following. A strategy review, where the services are selected in order to become fit for purpose, and this requires some external environment sensing. Operations review are where balance between and across services is attained. The idea is to always maximize delivery value, but they should be aligned with customers' expectations. In risk review, the idea is to understand and respond to risks to delivery of services. When considering service delivery review, this should be considered by one service and per service, where the idea is to examine and improve the effectiveness of each service. In the replenishment meeting, the idea is to move items over the commitment point and into the system. In Kanban meetings, this is where the daily coordination occurs, where the team self-organize and they plan for a review and stand-ups. And regarding the delivery planning meeting, the idea is to actually monitor and plan deliveries to customers. Improve and evolve is the last general practice. Kanban is the synonym of improvement or continuous improvement. This comes from the Japanese keyword Kaizen. Kai-zen, continuous improvement. Kanban starts from the organization as it is now and uses the lean flow paradigm to pursue continuous and incremental improvement. Since there is no end point in this flow, continuous flow, achieving perfection at this ever-changing fitness landscape is unattainable. So to evolve, one must apply for differentiation, select for fitness, and keep and amplify useful change. In summary, these are the essential activities that involve seeing the work and policies while improving the process in an evolutionary fashion. Or, as another author reference in the area states, see flow, start here, with visible work and policies, make validated improvements.